The worst time to be rich as a human. Imagine someone offers you a choice. You can be one of the richest people alive, not comfortable, not wealthy, one of the richest human beings on earth. There is only one catch. You don't get to choose when you live. Maybe you wake up as a king in ancient China. Maybe you're a medieval lord. Maybe you're an oil baron in the 19th century. Maybe you're a billionaire today. Most people assume wealth automatically means happiness, bigger houses, better food, more freedom. But history tells a different story, because for most of human civilization, being rich often meant trading ordinary problems for extraordinary ones. Let's find out when being rich was actually the worst. Ancient Mesopotamia. Wealth without comfort. Welcome to 2000 BC. You are one of the richest merchants in Mesopotamia. You own land. You own livestock. You control trade routes stretching across cities. People bow when you walk through the marketplace. Sounds impressive. Until you get home. Your mansion is made largely of mud bricks. Summer temperatures regularly climb above 40 degrees Celsius. There is no air conditioning, no refrigeration, no electricity, no antibiotics, no painkillers. A simple tooth infection can become a death sentence. Your servants fan you with giant leaves while you desperately try to sleep through another scorching night. The irony is brutal. You possess more wealth than 99.9% of humanity. Yet a modern teenager with a cheap electric fan lives more comfortably than you do. Money can buy status. It cannot buy technology that hasn't been invented. Imperial China, the Golden Cage. Now let's jump to the Tang dynasty. You are a senior court official. You wear silk. You dine from expensive ceramics. Poets write about your achievements. But your life comes with a terrifying reality. The emperor can destroy everything overnight. One accusation, one rumor, one political enemy, and your career vanishes. Historically, powerful officials were frequently exiled, imprisoned, or executed after falling out of favor. Your mansion, your land, your titles, your family's future, all depend on remaining useful to someone more powerful than you. Every conversation becomes a calculation. Every friendship becomes a potential threat. Every success attracts envy. You aren't living in luxury. You're living inside a beautifully decorated minefield. Medieval Europe, rich, cold, and constantly under attack, fast forward to the Middle Ages. You are a powerful noble. You own thousands of acres. You command knights. You live in a castle. As a child, that sounds incredible. As an adult, it sounds exhausting. Castles were not luxury homes. They were military fortresses. The stone walls trapped cold in winter and heat in summer. Windows were tiny because large windows made you easier to kill. The food was repetitive, travel was dangerous, medicine was primitive, and everyone wanted what you had. Bandits, rival nobles, invading armies, even your relatives, especially your relatives. Inheritance disputes fueled countless wars throughout medieval history. If you were rich enough, somebody somewhere was already planning how to take your property. Modern homeowners worry about interest rates. Medieval nobles worried about sieges. Renaissance bankers, rich enough to rule, vulnerable enough to fall. The Renaissance created a new type of elite. Not warriors, not kings, bankers. Families like the great merchant dynasties accumulated immense fortunes through finance and trade. For the first time, wealth itself became a source of power. But financial success created a new problem: visibility. Everyone knew who had money. Everyone wanted access to it. Governments borrowed from them. Kings depended on them. Popes negotiated with them. And when rulers couldn't repay debts, things got dangerous. Political winds shifted constantly. One bad alliance could destroy decades of accumulated wealth. A fortune built across generations could disappear in a single revolution. The richer you became, the more connected you were to unstable political systems. And the more connected you were, the harder it became to escape when those systems collapsed. The Industrial Revolution, when wealth became a machine. Now we arrive in the late 19th century. For the first time in history, wealth is no longer measured by how much land you own. It's measured by how many machines obey you. You are an industrial titan: railroads, steel mills, oil fields, banks, factories that stretch farther than the eye can see. Every morning, thousands of smokestacks rise with the sun, and every one of them exists because of decisions made in your office. Your wealth is almost incomprehensible. You don't own villages, you own industries. A single business deal can move more money than entire kingdoms once collected in taxes. Your mansion glows with electric light, while most of the world still relies on candles. You travel across continents by private rail car faster than emperors from previous centuries could have imagined. For the first time in history, money is beginning to conquer distance itself. But the higher you climb, the more fragile everything becomes. Because wealth has evolved into something new. Scale. A medieval lord worried about a few hundred peasants. You worry about 50,000 workers. A bad harvest once threatened a nobleman's fortune. A factory shutdown can now cripple an entire city. Every decision echoes through thousands of lives, and every mistake becomes impossible to hide. One morning, a boiler explodes. 20 workers die. By noon, reporters are outside your gates. By evening, your name is on the front page of every newspaper in the country. The public no longer sees you as a businessman. They see you as a symbol. To some, you are a visionary who built modern civilization. To others, you are a robber baron getting rich while children work 12-hour shifts in dangerous factories. The same fortune that earns admiration also attracts resentment. Workers organize strikes. Union leaders give speeches denouncing you by name. Politicians promise to break up your empire. Cartoonists draw you as a giant octopus, wrapping its tentacles around the economy. The larger your fortune grows, the less private your life becomes. Every mansion you build becomes a headline. Every party becomes gossip. Every luxury becomes evidence in the court of public opinion. And then there is the pressure. Constant, relentless. Your factories never sleep. Your railroads never stop. A delayed shipment in Chicago affects investors in New York. A strike in Pennsylvania rattles markets across the country. You are no longer managing a company. You are managing a machine so vast that even you cannot fully see all of its moving parts. At night, you walk through a mansion with 50 rooms. Servants attend to your every need. Your bank account grows faster than you can spend it. Yet sleep becomes harder to find, because somewhere a competitor is building a bigger factory. A politician is preparing a new regulation. A journalist is investigating your business practices. A market panic could erase years of expansion in a matter of weeks. The strange truth of industrial wealth is that it gives you unprecedented power while simultaneously making you a prisoner of that power. You can command trains to cross continents. You can reshape entire cities. You can influence governments, but you can never step away. The empire is too large. The machine must keep running. And for the first time in history, a rich man discovers something his ancestors never had to face. When your wealth becomes an institution, you no longer own it. The Cold War billionaire. Then comes the 20th century. Technological progress explodes. Luxury improves dramatically. Air conditioning, television, jet travel, modern medicine. For the first time, rich people begin enjoying lifestyles that genuinely surpass anything available in previous eras. But a new fear emerges: global destruction. If you were wealthy during the Cold War, you lived with the knowledge that nuclear weapons existed. You could own private islands, private jets, entire corporations. Yet none of it mattered if a geopolitical crisis escalated. The wealthiest individuals on Earth spent enormous sums building shelters, contingency plans, and security systems. History had reached a strange point. Humanity became rich enough to create unprecedented prosperity, and powerful enough to destroy it instantly. The modern billionaire. Now we arrive in the present day. Objectively speaking, this is probably the best time in history to be rich. You can cross continents overnight, access world-class healthcare, communicate instantly with anyone, eat food from every corner of the planet, live longer than kings from previous centuries. Yet, modern wealth comes with problems previous generations never experienced. Information never sleeps. Markets never fully rest. A rumor can spread globally in minutes. A mistake can become permanent. The internet remembers everything. Privacy has become one of the rarest luxuries on Earth. In previous centuries, wealthy people feared invaders. Today, they fear exposure, data leaks, cyber attacks, reputational disasters. Financial markets can erase billions of dollars in value before breakfast. A smartphone effectively connects you to every crisis happening everywhere all at once. For many modern billionaires, the challenge isn't acquiring wealth, it's escaping the psychological burden of constantly managing it. The strange truth about wealth. After looking across thousands of years, a pattern emerges. Every era solved some problems and created new ones. Ancient elites had status but lacked comfort. Medieval nobles had power but lacked security. Industrial magnates had wealth but lacked privacy. Modern billionaires have convenience but often struggle to find peace. The lesson is surprisingly simple. People imagine wealth as a destination. History suggests it's more like a magnifying glass. Money amplifies the world around you. If your society is unstable, wealth makes you a target. If your politics are dangerous, wealth makes you vulnerable. If your technology creates constant stress, wealth gives you more ways to experience that stress. The richest people in history weren't living perfect lives. They were simply facing different versions of the same human problem. How do you build a meaningful life when there is always something more to protect, more to lose, and more to worry about? Whether you're a pharaoh guarding gold, a medieval lord defending a castle, or a billionaire refreshing market data on a private jet, one truth remains remarkably consistent. The things that make life worth living, friendship, purpose, health, family, and peace of mind, have always been harder to buy than people think. Like and subscribe for more.